Welcome, Vino 301 family. We are here with Lauren Zimmerman, and this is part of our Women in Wine series. We're celebrating Women's History Month and Maryland Wine Month. So, cheers! Welcome.
Yeah, cheers! Thank you for having me be a part of this cool project.
Well, I'm pretty fortunate to have you be a part of this project. Lauren is being very modest. She is the winemaker here at Port of Leonardtown.
Yeah.
And we are sitting in the barrel room here. And we have our coats on because they do pay the bills here at Port of Leonardtown, but the room needs to be at a certain temperature.
Yeah,
so
I'm used to being bundled up all the time. In the cellar and the tank room, I'm always bundled up, but we keep everything chilled for temperature control and quality control. So it's nice in the summertime when it's 90 degrees outside and you come in the tank room and it's, you know, a brisk 60.
Yes. Yeah, I do like that. So, can you tell people about yourself?
Sure. So, as Leslie was saying, my name's Lauren Zimmerman. I'm the winemaker here at Port of Leonardtown Winery, and I have been in the industry for 14 years.
Okay.
I started while in high school, growing up in Ontario, Canada. I started working in local vineyards and just fell in love with the whole agricultural end of the industry. And I didn't really drink wine back then. I was just more in love with, helping maintain the vines and just seeing the progression of the grapevines grow through the season and helping with, managing and pruning and harvesting in the fall. And it was really my mom who encouraged me to get into the wine making end
Did she
of
really?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think she had a little bit of an agenda because she is a big wine fan. So she thought, hey, if I get my daughter into the wine industry, then, and sure enough, I'll when I go back home to Ontario, I'll bring a case of wine and but don't tell anybody. I smuggle it across the border.
Right,
and,
exactly.
Yeah, and she loves that. So there's definitely perks to having a daughter in the industry. But so I worked in Ontario and worked as a, my mom convinced me to study enology and viticulture, so I moved to Niagara Falls, and that's where I studied the art, and that's when I really gained the appreciation for wine drinking. And some of my classes were, all we did was taste wine and do pairings, and it was a tough life, I tell you. My roommates were extremely jealous because my homework was like, come home, find a bottle of wine, make a recipe, find the perfect pairing. So it was really fun. But after graduating, I moved around and worked with different winemakers around North America, and lived in New Zealand too, which was an amazing experience.
Oh my God, that's my dream trip.
Oh, so beautiful there. It's like unbelievable. Every view is just picturesque.
That's great. And your background is slightly different from what you hear a lot of people in this particular area, because winemaking becomes a hobby or a second career, but this has been your career
from day one. It's all I've ever done since I was 18 years old. I just worked at wineries and vineyards and traveled around. So it's I'm glad I'm in the industry. It's fun, and it's get to meet great people like you.
That's funny, because we were talking about like some of the questions or what have you, and I was like, well, why wine? But it's been in your blood.
Yeah, it was meant to be. Whether although I have to admit, on the weekends after a long, grueling week of making wine and sipping wine at work, then I'll often like crack open a beer, or I'm a big fan of whiskey and rum. So all I drink is not wine, but I like to dabble in other things too.
That's funny. Yeah. So like some days I'm like, this is a tequila day.
Like
exactly. Wine is not going to do it.
Sometimes you just need a margarita.
Right. Hold the lime and the salt. Just the tequila.
Just tequila. No, those are for the rough days.
Right, exactly. So, the Port of Leonardtown is a little different than your typical Maryland winery. Can you tell people about it?
Yeah, so we're definitely a unique venture. We're a cooperative. So, a group of grape growers came together and they developed the Southern Maryland Grape Growers Cooperative, which opened the Port of Leonardtown. So 11 vineyards supply the grapes for all of our wines. they bring the grapes to the loading dock and drop them off, and then all the magic happens right here in this building. And it's all labeled under Port of Leonardtown.
Okay.
So all of our fruit is 100% locally grown in Southern Maryland area.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So do you have a conversation on an annual basis, or say, okay, this is what we want to make, or this is what you're growing, or you plan to grow, or they're expanding to a different varietal? Do you have those conversations?
Yeah, definitely. If any of our growers are thinking about expanding, then they'll talk to me, and we'll talk about what's needed in our production, and that kind of thing. But the one thing is they understand now is when they drop off their grapes here, the farmers, they essentially walk away from the grapes, and then it's in my hands to decide where it goes and what blends it goes into. So they don't really they trust me, so they know the final product will be nice, and yeah, so it's they leave it up to me, and it works out well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So can we talk about what's in our glass today?
Yes.
What yumminess is in our glass?
So this is our Old Line Red,
Okay.
and it is a blend of Petit Verdot, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
it's a nice dry red wine, aged for 18 months in the oak barrels you see behind us, and it's just nice and smooth. It won Best Red Blend at the Governor's Cup, so we're excited for that, and it's one of my favorites right now. Everyone asks
I
about
love the nose on it.
it's definitely black cherry and currant, and but that's a question I'll get is, what's your favorite wine at the winery? But it's so hard to answer because, I mean, I love all my wines. There's a time and place for every style. And at Port of Leonardtown, we really do a variety of styles. So we have, like from, sweet and fruity, easy drinking kind of wines, all the way up to, the wines that you love, Leslie, the bold, dry, big style red wines.
I do.
Yeah.
And Petit Verdot is one of my favorite varietals.
Yes,
So,
it's a great blender. I wish we had more, but we don't do a single varietal Petit Verdot anymore. We just blend it into our Old Line Red, so it adds a nice element.
Having that conversation, if you want to do a single one, I am.
Yes.
Votes for me.
Well, we're actually getting ready to do our blending trials.
Okay.
And so next time I have it all set up, then I'll invite you over, and you can
great.
help with the final blends.
Thank you. Thanks. So you very casually said, at the Governor's Cup, it won. Yes.
The Old Line.
Yes. So congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
And for those who don't know, the Governor's Cup is Maryland's wine competition. And most of the wineries participate. There's certain rules that the number of cases that are produced or what have you. And so you won overall Best in Show.
Best in Show,
congratulations. But that wasn't the only wine that won.
No, we actually broke a record for the Governor's Cup,
Did you?
winning the most golds of any winery has ever won in the history of the Governor's Cup. So we submitted 8 wines, and we won 7 golds, and 2 of our wines took Best in Show. So we were ecstatic about that.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so it's phenomenal. And when Kevin called to tell us the news about winning the Governor's Cup, I was just walking out of the vineyard after doing a scouting, and I was just blown away. I tried to keep my cool and stay calm and collected when I was talking to Kevin, but after we got off the phone, I just did like a happy dance in the vineyard and scared all the birds out of the vineyard, but screaming, so happy, and had a little tear joy in my eyes, and it was definitely an ecstatic moment. And great news for our grape growers that put in all the extra work and effort into growing the phenomenal grapes that went into that winning wine.
Well, they say, good wine begins with good grapes.
Yes,
so that's a testament to the grape growers, for your team, your ability. So
for sure.
Kudos to you.
Yeah, and that's a perk of being involved with the cooperative is that with all the 11 different vineyards we have, we work with 25 grape varieties.
Wow.
So it makes my job a little more daunting with keeping all the lots and batches separate, but when it comes to the blending table, I have so many options. And I think that's why our reds are so successful, is because I just, we go back and forth trying different ratios and different blends until we find something that's absolutely perfect, and then we're able to do it. But a lot of wineries have like 8 or 9
Right.
grape varieties, but we have a whopping 25. So it definitely is a recipe for success, I think.
Yeah, I think that's great. So I am going to ask you about being a female winemaker, and it's funny because this is the Women in Wine series or what have you, and when I was thinking about it, I was like, well, nobody really says to a man, what is it like to be a male winemaker? Because it's just assumed, and unfortunately that it's a given.
Yeah, it blows me away when sometimes in the tasting room someone will ask like, oh, can we meet the winemaker? And little old me will walk out and they're kind of like, you can tell they're surprised.
Right,
they're
right.
expecting, like an older male to be, and sometimes they'll openly say that to me, like, oh, we weren't expecting, young female winemaker, but it's, we're slowly taking over the young females.
Well, that's great. I think it brings, aside from the obvious diversity, I think it introduces a broader palette, and it represents a greater grouping of people. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think I know it was a known fact that females are the higher percentage of wine buyers, so that's important, and I also believe that women are better tasters and smellers. That's just my personal opinion, but when I was pregnant, I had, I think, like super senses. It's just, everything is heightened when you're pregnant, and when we were doing blending trials, of course, I still had to taste, but I was spitting everything, but it was, it was just, I feel like that's when we did some of our super blends. Yeah, just everything was like coming out, and it was great, yeah.
So how many female winemakers are there in this state? Do you know?
That's a good question. There's definitely a handful now.
There's
so
more than, what I remember when we started, and maybe there were 3.
Oh, there's definitely more now.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be a good number to find out.
Right.
There's close to 100 wineries in
Exactly.
Maryland now, which is, blows a lot of people away.
Right.
But yeah, I bet there's a good percentage of female winemakers.
Which I think that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
That is awesome. I mean, there's been a number of female owner-operators in the wine industry in Maryland, which is great. You don't see that in a lot of states. So I'm glad to see that there are women also.
Definitely, including yourself, with Vino 301. That is super exciting for all different parts of the industry.
Exactly. I think there's room for growth all around in the industry.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah. So I know you said it's really hard picking your favorite wine, but is it seasonal? Like, are you more of
It's more like daily. I have a new favorite, but it's definitely seasonal. I love the rosés. We do off-dry rosé that is a huge hit in the spring, and then we do a lot of fun wines. We have our Vitilicado, which is made with Vidal grapes, and it's a naturally sweet wine. So during fermentation, I'll stop the yeast activity early, and I'll drop the temperature down to 28 Fahrenheit, which will halt the yeast, and then it kind of preserves that natural residual sugar, that natural sweetness, and a little bit of fizzante kind of bubble to it. So it's like very refreshing, and we call it fruit cocktail in a glass because it's just so nice. Peach, tangerine, all those delicious flavors.
I love this fruit flavors.
It's a fun wine, but we also do a port. Have you tried our port?
I have not.
Yeah. So
wait a second. It's been a while. It's been a while.
So we're sold out right now, but we'll be releasing, actually for Maryland Wine Month, which is the month of March.
Right.
We'll be releasing our port. And it is another fun wine. It's naturally sweet. It is fortified to 20% alcohol. So it's great when it's cool nights. If you're out sitting around the fireplace with friends and you just pour a little bit. It's it's a great wine for the camp fire weather, I guess.
So that's not. So you recently, it's been almost a year now that the tasting room has been redone.
Yes.
And it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
So when people come down here, what should they expect when they come?
Yeah, so definitely encourage you to come down for a visit. We are open 7 days a week, so you can you don't have to guess when we're open. We're always here, and you can come in and do the full flight tasting. And we have cheese and cracker options that you can buy for food, but we encourage you to bring picnic.
Right.
And
Yes.
we always say you're welcome to bring your own food, and we have a nice big patio. You can go out and
I love that
relax
covered
and-
patio.
Yeah, so it's actually part of our patio is all year. So we have it heated in the winter, and we have nice little fire pits in there, and it's very cozy. And you can buy by the glass or by the bottle,
Right.
and we do live music every weekend and every first Friday of the month too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I see it's decorated for St. Patty's Day.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
It's green. I noticed
Oh,
the
okay.
green tablecloth.
I didn't even notice. I was so observant. I'm always like back here, but that must be. I think the girls are working on it today.
Yeah, it's really cute. I
Decorating.
noticed that when I was
We
pulling
keep
up
it
here.
festive and fun. Yeah, and we say you're welcome to bring your furry friends too. The dogs.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So we're dog friendly.
Okay. Oh,
and-
good. That's good to
Yeah.
know because a lot of people do wonder
Oh,
if they
yeah.
can bring their pets. So that's
Well, we have a little bit of a perk because we're in the park, so there's
Yes.
room for the kids and the dogs to run around while the adults are drinking wine. So yeah.
So I wanted to ask you. So what are some great things that people can expect in the upcoming months? I know you talked about the rosé.
Yes.
What should they
so-
be looking for?
Well, I mentioned the port being released for Maryland Wine
Right.
Month, and we're also doing special pairings every weekend for Maryland Wine Month. I think we're working with a local pizzeria doing like pizza pairings, and we have working with a local creamery doing cheese pairings, of course. And
I
that
thought
kind
you were
of
going to
thing.
say like ice cream pairings. Did you
Oh,
know
we're
there's
doing
an ice
that
cream
too.
trail? Did you know there was
No.
Yeah, there's a Maryland ice
How
cream
did I not
trail.
know
I
that?
know.
That is, I'll definitely have to hit that up in all my free time, but it'll, that's,
Right.
yeah, that's
Between
sounds
12 and 2
cool.
in the morning.
Yeah,
your
you
free
should
time.
add it onto the
I know.
tour list.
I know. They're
Stops.
Harford County
Okay.
has a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's a must visit. I know Heritage Chocolates in Leonardtown, all handmade chocolates, and they have gelato
Yeah.
there. So delicious. Yeah, it's worth a stop if you have time today. I would go by there. Yeah.
Please don't tempt me.
Wine and chocolates.
Right.
It's,
Exactly.
it's
exactly.
a good world to live in. Yeah.
Are you doing? I noticed a lot of people are doing Girl Scout cookie pairings. Are you guys doing that?
I know we have in the past, and I
Okay,
believe we may be dabbling in that.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna. I mean, who doesn't love Girl Scout cookies?
I
They're
know.
addictively delicious.
They are.
My husband brought home 3 boxes the other night, and then he was mad at me. Well, I was mad at him for bringing home 3 boxes, and then he was mad at me for eating them all, and so it just didn't work out well for us.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and please continue making great wine.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks so much.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that's delicious.
Oh, that's a good ending right there.